at sabay-sabay po nating awitin ang pambansang awit.
Tayo po lahat ay manalangin. Mahal na Diyos naming Ama at makapangyarihan sa lahat, kami ay nagpapasalamat sa muling pagkakataong ipinagkaloob mo sa amin na kami magkatipon-tipon upang magpuri at magpasalamat sa mga biyaya na ipinagkaloob mo sa bawat isa sa amin at sa buong lungsod ng Marikina. Panginoon, hinihiling po namin na ipagkaloob mo sa bawat isa ang iyong banal na espiritu na laging manatili sa aming mga isip at puso, upang ang lahat ng aming isasagawa at isasaisip ay naaayon sa aming kalooban at sa iyong kalooban. Naway ipagkaloob mo rin sa amin ang liwanag ng isipan at puso, upang maging karapat-dapat at higit na makibahagi sa paglilingkod at sa pagpapaunlad ng aming lungsod. Gayon din Ama, ang lungsod na ito na si Mayor Marcy Chodoro, gabayan mo po siya sa pagiging isang ehemplo para sa pamumuno at pagpapatupad ng kaayusan sa aming inang bayan. Maging karapat-dapat nawa kami sa iyong pagmamahal at patuloy na pagkalinga upang ang aming mga kapwa at mga abang kababayan ay aming mapaglingkuran ng tapat at may pagpapahalaga sa bawat isa. Ang lahat ng ito ay hinihiling namin sa pamamagitan ng iyong anak na si Jesus na aming Panginoon na nabubuhay at nagahari kasama mo at ng Espiritu Santo magpasawalang hanggan. Amen.
Maraming salamat sa mga nanguna sa pagbukas ng ating sesyon ngayong umaga kay Councilor Jonas, Councilor Saiza at kay Councilor Jojo Banzon. Sa ating kalihim ng ating konseho, Madam Linting Kungko, pakibanggit ang mga pangalan ng mga kasapi ng hanay ng konseho upang malaman natin kung may quorum ngayong umaga.
Vice Mayor Jose Fabian A. Cadiz.
Present.
Councilor Ronnie Acuña is on leave. Councilor Joseph Banson. Councilor Serafin Bernardino. Councilor Lea Carlos is not yet in. Councilor Paul Dayaw, not yet in. Councilor Levi de Guzman. Councilor Mario de Leon. Councilor Mark Albert del Rosario. Councilor Don Carlo Favis, Councilor Ernesto Flores, Councilor Susana Magtubo, Councilor Eva Aguirre Paz, Councilor Ruben Reyes, Councilor Tadeus Antonio Santos Jr., Councilor Saisa Diasen Santos, Councilor Manuel Sarmiento, Councilor Sifred Ancheta, Councilor Jonas Mervin Reyes. There are 16 members present, Your Honor. There is a quorum.
There are 16 members out of 19 who are present. We have a quorum for today's session. Bago po tawagin ang ating floor leader, gusto kong kilalanin ang presensya po ng mga bisita ngayong umaga sa ating sesyon. Unang-una, kikilalanin ko po si Councilor-elect Joel Relieve mula sa District 2, Councilor-elect Angel Nunez mula rin sa District 2, Councilor-elect Coach Loreto Tolentino mula sa District 2. Baka hindi nyo kilala si Loreto. Coach Elvis po. At siyempre po ay meron po tayong bisita mula sa malapit na lugar, mula sa lalawigan ng Masbate. Ang kanyang nanay ay taga Marikina, naging gobernadora ng lalawigan ng Masbate. Ngayon, nandito po ang kanyang anak. Siya po ay Vice Governor-elect ng lalawigan ng Masbate. So, kikilalanin ko po at bigyan po natin siya ng masigabong palakpakan dahil siya ay isang Marikenya din. Walang iba kundi Vice Governor-elect Ara Olga Tingkungko Ko. Palakpakan po natin. Welcome po kayo. At sa ating mabunyi, gwapong-gwapo, magandang lalaking floor leader mula sa Barangay Kalumpang, ang leon ng Kalumpang, walang iba ko hindi si Councilor Mario De Leon. Yun. Parang sinabi mo yan na inaanak, Councilor Tadeo Santos. Mukhang totoo yung kumakalat na balita. You have the floor, Councilor Mario De Leon. Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga po, Ginoong Tagapangulo. Magandang umaga sa lahat na narito sa Bulwagan. Mr. Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of today's agenda with the following inclusions and addendum. Under inclusion, we have 14 committee reports. 1 under new business and referral to committees, and 1 for urgent matters. Under addendum, we have 1 under new business and referral to committees.
Okay, so you heard the motion to approve the agenda with amendments under inclusion, under committee report, 14, under new business, 1, under urgent matter, 1. Under addendum naman, meron po tayong 1, under new business. Is there any second to the motion to approve the agenda seconded by Councilor Don Carlo Fabis? Any other amendments coming from the floor? Wala. Any objection to the agenda with the amendments? None. Then the agenda is unanimously approved by all those present.
We now come to item number 2, which is the reading and approval of the minutes of the 16th regular session. Mr. Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the minutes of the 16th regular session.
There's a motion to approve the minutes of the 16th regular session Any second? Duly seconded by Councilor Bochi Bernardino. Are there any amendments or corrections to the minutes? None. Then the minutes adopted by the 8th City Council.
We don't have any item under question hour and as well as a privilege hour. So we will now go to item number 4, which is the committee reports. Under Committee on Ways and Means and Committee on Barangay Affairs, this is joint committee. The lead committee is Committee on Ways and Means. Please recognize Councilor Tadeo Santos.
Councilor Tadeo Santos, you have the floor. Magandang umaga po. Welcome back from Samba, United States of America.
Good morning, Mr.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Magandang umaga po.
Before I proceed with my committee report, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the 3 councilors elect, all from District 3.
District
Two.
Two.
District 2.
Meron ka bang ipapanukalang pangatlong distrito?
I'm hoping that a new congressional district will be created, Mr. Chair.
Kailangan ilipat natin yung mga taga-Masbate rito.
So
Mga
welcome to Councilors-elect Nunez, Tolentino, and Relieve. And feel free to observe what we do here. Subject document number 19-165, Barangay Ordinance number 10, Series of 2019 of Barangay Tumana, entitled An Ordinance Imposing Fees and Charges and Securing Different Types of Clearances, prescribing rates of payment to be imposed thereon, and different requirements to be complied with each type of clearance. The committee, after conducting a hearing, recommends that the same be contained in appropriate measure to be calendared for second reading. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilor Tadeo Santos, for your report. And as the chairperson of the lead committee, Ways and Means.
Next to be recognized is Chairman of Committee on Footwear and Leathercraft Industry. Please recognize Councilor Levy de Guzman.
Councilor Levy de Guzman, the chairperson of this committee, is recognized. And again, congratulations to you.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Magandang umaga po.
Okay. Magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. Okay. Committee Report number 19-106. Subject, Proposal number 19-097. Proposed Ordinance declaring the 4th of July of every year as Shoemakers and Uppermakers Day in Marikina City, introduced by Councilor Mario De Leon. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Footwear and Leathercraft Industry, to which the matter was referred, has the honor to report that a meeting was held on May 27, 2019, and present were members of the committee, concerned city officials, and Councilor Mario De Leon, the proponent. Since the subject proposed ordinance shall highlight the giving of recognition to the shoemakers of the city, whose contribution in the shoe industry has made Marikina City earn the title as the shoe capital of the Philippines since the 1960s. The awarding ceremonies will coincide with the celebrations of the yearly Sapatos Festival in Marikina City, which in celebration of the feast of San Crispin, the patron of shoemakers. However, the committee recommends an amendment to the title of the subject proposal to be read as follows. Proposed ordinance declaring the 19th of November of every year as Shoemakers and Uppermakers Day in Marikina City. Finally, the matter was considered by the body for second reading. That's all, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Maraming salamat, Councilor Levy de Guzman, for your report under the Committee on Footwear and Leathercraft Industry.
Well, Mr. Presiding Officer, we have other committee reports under inclusion. Mr. Presiding Officer, please recognize Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis for he's about to report 4 committee reports, rendered 4 committee reports.
The chair recognizes the top-notcher councilor from District 2. Kasi hindi ka nakangiti kanina habang papalapit ng roster eh. Councilor Don Carlo Fabius, again, congratulations.
Thank you very much to our presiding officer for that introduction, but unnecessary introduction naman.
It's a necessary introduction. May mga bisita tayo eh.
Nahihiya ako. But on behalf of the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development, I'd like to render 4 committee reports. The first would be Committee Report number 107 with the subject, letter from Mr. Russell Sherman requesting for the issuance of a development permit for the proposed 3-story unit apartment located at Lot 12, Angelito Paliparan Subdivision, Barangay Santo Niño, De City. Your Honor, during a meeting that was held, and prior to the conduct, and as a matter of protocol, the documents submitted by Mr. Sherman were referred to the engineering office for its initial evaluation and recommendation. Thereafter, during the committee meeting, according to the engineering office, it was determined that the project title is for a proposed 3-story unit apartment, and by definition, these structures are not intended to be sold. On the other hand, the development permits issued to those who wish to convert a parcel of land into a subdivision project, which is defined by Section 2D of PH 957, to wit, subdivision project shall mean a tract of a parcel of land registered under Article number 469, which is partitioned primarily for residential purposes, into individual lots which is with or without improvements thereon, and offered to the public for sale in cash or installment terms. It shall include all residential, commercial, industrial, and recreational areas, as well as open spaces and other community and public areas in the project. In view thereof, the committee advised the owner, Mr. Russell M. Sherman Jr., is no longer required to secure development permit in view of the above stated law. Your Honor, Committee Report number 108, letter dated February 19 from Mr. Eric Tisalona, requesting likewise for development permit for a proposed 3-unit, 2-story residential apartment located at Lot 49, Peach Street, Barangay Concepcion 2, this city. Your Honor, the committee during its meeting has a recommendation that since the provisions under PH 957 and Article number 469, the recommendation would be the same, that Mr. Tisalona will be no longer required to secure development permit in view of that above stated law. The third would be Committee Report number 109. Letter from Architect Kathleen May Manarang, requesting for the issuance of a development permit for the proposed 2-story residential townhouse located at Virgo Street, La Consolacion, Barangay Parang, this city. After submission, Your Honor, of documents required for the issuance of the development permit located at Virgo, La Consolacion Village, Barangay Parang, this city, were successfully provided by Architect Manarang, the matter was forwarded to the engineering office for their comments and recommendations. After a thorough deliberation and approval from the engineering office, the committee reconsidered the request and recommends that it be contained in an appropriate measure to be calendared for second reading. The last committee report would be Committee Report number 110. Letter from Mr. Aristeo Matawaran, requesting for the issuance of a development permit for the proposed 3-unit, 2-story residential apartment located at Galaxy Street, Barangay Concepcion 2, this city. Your Honor, the committee, after stating that PH 957 and Article number 469, likewise, the applicant was advised that the issuance of a development permit is not required as stated by the above stated law. That would be all, Your Honor. Thank you po and good morning to everyone.
Thank you, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, for several reports rendered under the Committee on Housing, Zoning, and Community Development.
Mr. Presiding Officer, next to render committee reports is the Chairman of Committee on Transportation and Traffic. May I be recognized, Mr. Presiding Officer?
Yes, the Chair recognizes Councilor Mario De Leon, since he is the chairperson of the Committee on Transportation and Traffic. You have the floor, Councilor Mario De Leon.
Thank you very much. Committee report number 19-111. Subject documents number 18-039, endorsement letter dated January 3, 2018 of Mr. Villamor Legaspi Jr. Addressed to yours truly, respectfully forwarding the attached documents of Balagtas Molina Parang Operators Association Incorporated for accreditation of association and authority for transport terminal. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Transportation and Traffic, to which the subject matter was referred, has the honor to report that the committee conducted its second meeting to discuss details of the subject document on May 24, 2019. The meeting was attended by majority of the members of the committee, as well as Mr. Villamor Legaspi of the OPSS, TSRU, and the officers of Balagtas Molina Parang Operators Association Incorporated. The BMP PODAI is requesting for their transport organization to be accredited and likewise to grant them the authority to operate a transport terminal in the vicinity of PTT gasoline station located at BG Molina, Parang, Marikina City. They made the request so that their operation will be legal and no problem with the enforcers will be encountered. Although their terminal is located in a private property, the OPSS TSRU still conducted a study as to whether a terminal may be allowed in the area and came up with an endorsement for the City Council's approval. In view thereof, the committee recommends that a resolution accrediting BMP PODAI and allowing them to operate a terminal in PTT gasoline station be approved for second reading. Committee report number 19-112, subject proposal number 19-099, proposed ordinance authorizing the city government of Marikina to grant tricycle franchise to 30 registered passenger type private tricycle of SGP R3 Today located in Barangay Concepcion 2, Marikina City. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Transportation and Traffic, to which the subject matter was referred, has the honor to report that the committee held a meeting on May 24, 2019 to discuss issues pertaining to the subject matter. The meeting was attended by a majority of the members of the committee. Mr. Villamor Legaspi of the Office of the Public Safety and Security Transport Services Regulatory Unit, as well as the President and applicants of SGPR3 Today. Upon interview of the committee on the applicants' presence, there were some applicants who cannot say when or from whom they acquired their private tricycles, and some cannot even show proof of the change of ownership. Since there are still a number of issues to clarify, the committee requested Mr. Legaspi to once again review the applications. In view thereof, the subject matter is hereby deferred for further study. Committee report number 19-113. Subject, proposal number 19-043. Proposed ordinance authorizing the city government of Marikina to grant tricycle franchise to one registered passenger type private tricycle of EJ Today located in Barangay Santa Elena, Marikina City. Proposal number 19-098, tricycle franchise to 10 registered passenger type of PL Today located in Barangay Concepcion 2, Marikina City. Proposal number 19-100, granting one registered passenger type private tricycle of Hodem Toda located in Barangay Santo Niño. Proposal number 19-101, granting tricycle franchise to 3 registered passenger type private tricycle of ODG Today located in Barangay Santa Elena. Proposal number 19-102, granting tricycle franchise to 1 registered passenger type private tricycle of Daka Today located in Barangay San Roque. Proposal number 19-103, granting 14 registered passenger type private tricycle of Katoday located in Barangay Kalumpang. Proposal number 19-104, granting 3 registered passenger type of KGMB Today located in Barangay Kalumpang. Proposal number 19-105, granting 1 registered passenger type private tricycle of HRMR Today located in Barangay San Roque. Proposal number 19-106, granting 3 registered passenger type private tricycle of CDEX Today, located in Barangay Santo Niño. Proposal number 19-107, granting one registered passenger type private tricycle of Star Today, located in Barangay San Roque. Proposal number 19-108, granting one registered passenger type private tricycle of GSS Today, located in Barangay Santa Elena. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Transportation and Traffic, to which the subject matter was referred, has the honor to report that the committee held a meeting on May 24, 2019 to discuss issues pertaining to the subject matters. The meeting was attended by majority of the members of the committee, Mr. William Orligaspi of the Office of Public Safety and Security, Transport Services Regulatory Unit, as well as the presidents and beneficiaries of ATS from different TODAs all over the city. All of the subject TODAs are existing and have chosen to adopt new members since they lack more units that will provide services to the constituent of the city. All of the applicants were screened by their respective TODAs and the OPSS TSRU before submission to the City Council. During the meeting, the committee likewise conducted its investigation by interviewing the applicants. Finding all the above subject proposals to be in order and for the benefit of the constituent of the city, the committee recommends that the same be approved for second reading with revision to the text of proposal number 19-043 and 19-104 by changing the number of beneficiaries from 1 to 2 and from 3 to 5 respectively. That's all under my committee reports under Committee on Transportation Traffic.
Thank you very much. We will now proceed to the joint committee report under Rules and Ways and Means. As the chairperson of the lead committee, Rules and Codification of the Law, you have again the floor.
Yes.
Councilor Mario De Leon.
Thank you very much again, Mr. President. Committee report number 19-114. Subject, document number 19-140. Letter dated February 22, 2019 of Honorable Marcelino Archadoro, City Mayor, addressed to the honorable members of the City Council, requesting for the passage of an ordinance amending the existing ordinance number 043, series of 2008, fronted by the facts that the previous owners signified their interest to repurchase their auction properties. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Rules and Codification of Laws and the Committee on Ways and Means, to which the subject proposal was referred, have the honor to report that the committees held a meeting on May 27, 2019 to discuss the subject matter. The meeting was attended by majority of the members of the committees as well as Attorney Florella B. Almares, Acting City Legal Officer. The request for amendments of Ordinance Number 043, Series of 2008, was prompted by the request of previous owners to be able to repurchase their properties which were taken by the city government due to non-payment of real property taxes. Ordinance Number 043, Series of 2008, provides that properties acquired by the city can be sold through a public auction. The amendment being requested will provide the original property owners of the opportunity to repurchase their lots before a public auction can be conducted. The committees, finding the amendment to be in order and beneficial to the constituent of the city, recommends that the same be approved for second reading. Committee report number 19-115. Subject, document number 19-143. Letter of Honorable Marcelino Archadoro, the City Mayor, addressed to the honorable members of the City Council, requesting for the passage of the following. A. Resolution authorizing him to accept and sign the deed of donation between spouses Eugene C. Cham and Ami Yuanmen T. Cham and the City Government of Marikina. Letter B is resolution authorizing him also to accept and sign the deed of donation between the spouses Jose E. Benz, and Corazon D. Benz, and the City Government of Marikina. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Rules and Codification of Laws, to which the subject matter was referred, has the honor to report that the committee discussed the same during its meeting held on May 27, 2019. The meeting was attended by a majority of the members of the committee, as well as Attorney Lorena B. Almares, Acting City Legal Officer. The deed of donation between spouses Eugene Cham and Ami Cham and the City Government of Marikina pertains to a 100 square meter portion of their property which is adjacent to Barangka Elementary School. The City Government of Marikina intends to convert it into a park so that a student from said school will have a space for them to sit down and study during break time. The deed of donation between spouses Jose Baines and Corazon Baines and the City Government of Marikina pertains to open space and road lots inside a subdivision located in Champaka, Barangay Fortune, Marikina City. The committee, after thoroughly studying the two proposals, recommend that the first proposal between spouses Cham and the city be approved for second reading, while the second proposal between spouses Baines and the city be deferred for further study, since there is a document that the committee is requiring the other party to submit. Committee report number 19-116. Subject, document number 19-158, letter dated April 10, 2019, of Honorable City Mayor Marcelino R. Chadoro, addressed to the members of the City Council requesting for the passage of a resolution authorizing him to enter into and sign an agreement on Internet Payment Gateway, e-payment, and e-merchant between the City Government of Marikina and the Development Bank of the Philippines, DBP, including the agreement on mutual confidentiality and non-disclosure for the use of credit and debit card transactions in payment of local government taxes, fees, and services, and the installation of automated teller machine of DBP at the premises of the City Hall. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Rules and Codification of Laws, to which the subject matter was referred, has the honor to report that the committee discussed the issues pertaining to the subject matter during its meeting held on May 27, 2019. The agreement that will be entered into by the city with the Development Bank of the Philippines pertains to the availability of payment using credit and debit card, which taxpayers can utilize as a more convenient manner of payments, while the installation of an ATM machine in the premises of the City Hall will be beneficial to the employees and guests. In view thereof, the committee recommends that the approval of two separate resolutions for second reading. Committee report number 19-117. Subject, proposal number 19-109. Proposed ordinance reorganizing and institutionalizing the Marikina City Anti-Drug Abuse Council and for other purposes. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Rules and Codification of Laws, which the subject proposal was referred, has the honor to report that after a thorough review of the proposal with the members of the committee and the proponent, Councilor Manuel Isarmiento, the committee determined that there is no other change in the previous ordinance covering the organization of Marikina Anti-Drug Abuse Council except for the position of the Vice Chairperson. All other contents are the same, and therefore there is no need for the passage of a new ordinance, but instead an amendment is necessary. In view thereof, the committee recommends that the proposal be revised so that it will become an amendment to Ordinance Number 042, Series of 2016, with the effectivity of July 1st, 2019, and that the same be approved for second reading.
Akala ko June 1. Akala ko June 1 ang effectivity.
July 1st, Mr. President, Officer. For your info.
Nabasa ko naman.
Committee report number 19-118. Proposal number 19-110. Proposed resolution consolidating the Committee on Peace and Order, Public Safety and Security, and the Committee on Dangerous Drugs into a unified committee to be called Committee on Peace and Order, Public Safety and Security, introduced by Councilor Manuel A. Sarmiento. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Rules and Codification of Laws, to which the subject proposal was referred, has the honor to report that the committee has reviewed the same during its meeting held on May 29, 2019, with the members of the committee and the proponent, Councilor Manuel A. Sarmiento. As explained in the proposal, the merging of two committees into one is being proposed since concern related to dangerous drugs have a direct correlation on the peace and order situation of the city. And measures will be deliberated faster if there will be a single chairmanship and same members are well versed on the said committees. In view thereof, the committee recommends that the subject proposal be approved for second reading. That's all under committee reports. So, Mr.
Meron pa po tayo. Yung sa joint report under the Committee on
Yes.
Barangay Affairs and
Yes.
Youth,
Yes.
and
Committee on-
under Finance and Appropriation.
Yes. Please recognize Councilor Cyprian Cheta.
Councilor Zif Ancheta, you're recognized. Again, congratulations because on July 1, you will be the president ng Liga ng Barangay Metro NCR.
Yes, Your Honor.
Uupo ka na sa MMDA.
Pag nag-oath na po, Your Honor.
Opo, sige.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer
Magandang
and
umaga.
fellow councilors. A joint committee report number 119, Committee on Barangay Affairs and Committee on Youth and Sports Development. Document number 19-164, letter dated by May 17, 2019 of Punong Barangay Rizalina Watson Tiope of Barangay Fortune addressed to Vice Mayor Jose Fabian Cadiz, forwarding the attached Barangay Resolutions number 004, Series of 2019 entitled Resolution requesting the City Government of Marikina to Honorable Mayor Marcelina R. Teodoro in 8th City Council to appropriate funds for the establishment of the Youth Activity Building to be constructed at the open space in Champaca 1 Street, Fortune, Marikina City. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Barangay Affairs and the Committee on Youth and Sports Development, to which the subject was referred, have the honor to report that the committees held a meeting on May 29, 2019 to discuss issues pertaining to the subject matter. Upon the review of the said provisions of barangay resolutions, the committees deemed it necessary to endorse the matter to the Office of the City Mayor, Honorable Marcelino Teodoro, for his approval, and the City Budget Office to determine the availability of the fund for the purpose. That's all, Your Honor. And for
Yes.
the second joint
For the
committee,
second joint committee report,
Committee on
with the
Barangay
Finance
Affairs
and Appropriation.
and Committee on Finance and Appropriation. Document number 19144, letter of Honorable Marcelino Teodoro, City Mayor, addressed to the honorable members of the City Council to Councilor Joseph B. Banson, submitting the annual budget 2019 of Barangay Concepcion Dos in the amount of 24,559,794 pesos. Mr. Presiding Officer, the Committee on Barangay Affairs and the Committee on Finance and Appropriation, to which the subject was referred, have the honor to report that the committees have thoroughly reviewed, studied, and deliberated upon the documents pertaining the annual budget of Barangay Concepcion Dos during its meeting held on May 29, 2019. The committee found the annual budget to be on order and in conformity with the existing laws and regulations, and have complied with the new format issued by the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. In view thereof, the committees recommended that the subject matter be contained in appropriate measures to be approved for second reading, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Zif Ancheta, for several reports rendered. Mr. Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer, I move for the adoption of all rendered committee reports.
Any second? Seconded by Councilor Tadeo Santos. The committee reports are now part of the documents of the 8th City Council.
We now come to item 5, which is the new business and referral to committees. Document number 19-166, letter dated May 21st, 2019 of Mr. Ray Tan, owner of RJA Printing Press Services, addressed to Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis, requesting exemption from the zoning ordinance for his printing services located at number 9 Jupiter Street, Mature Subdivision, Barangay Fortune, Marikina City.
Referred to the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development.
Document number 19-167. Liham mula kay Ginang Maria Rina Galapon Amano para kay Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis na humingi ng tulong at paintulot na payagan makapagbukas ng negosyo ng t-shirt printing sa may number 60 Lime Street, SSS Village, Barangay Concepcion, Marikina City.
Referred to the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development.
Document number 19-168, letter dated May 22, 2019 of Miss Mary Rose Aguilar, addressed to Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis, requesting consideration of her application of zoning certificate for her water refilling station located at 124 AJ Molina, corner Romance Street, Barangay Concepcion 1, Marikina City.
Referred to the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development.
Document number 19-169, letter dated May 23 of 2019 of Mr. Victoriano Ortega of Kujing Realty, addressed to Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis, requesting for the issuance of development permit for the construction of 3-unit, 2-story residence located at Lot 26, Block 27, Mohawk Street, St. Clair 1 Subdivision, Barangay Concepcion 1, Marikina City.
Referred to the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development.
Document number 19-170, Barangay Ordinance number 01, Series of 2019 of Barangay Malanday, this city, entitled An Ordinance Requiring Parents, Guardians of Children in Conflict with the Law and Child Risk to attend an effective parenting seminar and prescribing penalties thereof.
Referred to two committees, Barangay Affairs and the Committee on Women, Family Affairs, and Gender Equality. The lead committee is Committee on Women, Family Affairs, and Gender Equality.
Document number 19-171, letter dated May 22, 2019 of DILG City Director Patrick John Mejia, addressed to Honorable Vice Mayor Jose Fabian I. Cadiz, MD, regarding the letter complaint of Barangay Fortune SK John Carlo Ponce against SK member Reginald Padua, who alleged to have incurred absences without valid causes in the regular monthly session of SK Barangay Fortune.
Referred to two committees, Barangay Affairs and the Committee on Youth and Sports Development. The lead committee is Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
Still under new business and referral, this time under inclusion. Document number 19-172, letter dated May 27, 2019 of Mr. Takehito Osada, President of Oseki Transport and Logistics Incorporated, addressed to Councilor Don Carlo B. Pabis, requesting for consideration for the exemption from the zoning ordinance for his logistic company located at 15K West Drive, Barangay Marikina Heights, Marikina City.
Referred to the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, Community Development.
Under addendum, we have proposal number 19-118, proposed ordinance institutionalizing the conduct of back-to-school bazaar, or the popularly known as the Balik Eskwela Gamit Sapatos, Marikina, every year in Marikina City.
Referred to two committees, Committee on Commerce, Trade and Industry, and Committee on Footwear and Leathercraft Industry. The lead committee is Footwear.
So we now come to item number 6, business for the day. This is a proposed resolution in ordinances for second and third reading. Mr. Presiding Officer, please recognize Councilor Sipri Ancheta.
Councilor Zif Ancheta, you have 3 matters to propose under second reading. You are recognized.
Yes, Your Honor. I move for the approval of the proposed resolution declaring Barangay Ordinance Number 02, Series of 2019 of Barangay Malanday, Marikina City, entitled Ordinance Imposing Fees and Charges in Using Function Hall of the Barangay in Different Occasions to be consistent with law. Your Honor, I move for the approval of the said resolution for second reading.
There's a motion to approve on second reading a resolution declaring Barangay Ordinance Number 02, Series of 2019 of Barangay Malanday, Marikina City entitled Ordinance Imposing Fees and Charges in Using the Function Hall of the Barangay in Different Occasions to be consistent with the law. Any second? Duly seconded by Councilor Eva Aguirre Paz and Councilor Levy de Guzman. Any discussion? Any amendment?
Your Honor, I want to include your presiding officer and the rest of the council as the proponent of the said resolution.
So, there is a motion to amend. There is a proposal to amend by including all the names of the members of the 8 City Council who are interested to be co-authors of this resolution. If there's no objection, then the amendment is approved. Any objection to the main matter on hand, which is to approve on second reading the resolution declaring Barangay Ordinance Number 02, Series of 2019 of Barangay Malanday, Marikina City, entitled Ordinance Imposing Fees and Charges in Using the Function Hall of Barangay Malanday in Different Occasions to be consistent with the law. Any objection? None. Then this resolution is approved on second reading.
Proposed resolution number 119-115. I move for the approval of the said proposed resolution declaring the Barangay Ordinance number 3, Series of 2019 of Barangay Malanday, Marikina City, entitled Ordinance Imposing Charges and Fees in Using Vacant Slot of Gazebo Area of Barangay Hall for use, install, or cart, vending, and promos purposes to be consistent with law, Your Honor. So I move for the approval of the said resolution for second reading.
Any second to the proposal? Duly seconded by Councilor Levy de Guzman and Councilor Eva Aguirre Paz. Discussion? Amendment?
And for amendments, I would like also include again the committee chair, Jojo Banzon, and presiding officer and the rest of the councilors as part of the said resolution.
If there's no objection to the proposal to amend, then the amendment is approved. Any objection to this resolution? None. Then this resolution is approved on second reading.
Proposed resolution number 19116. I move for the approval of the proposed resolution declaring the Barangay Ordinance number 1, Series of 2019 of Barangay Jesus de la Peña of Marikina City, an ordinance appropriating the amount of 10,000 pesos representing the share of the barangay to the project cost in the implementation of the city. Ordinance number 49, Series of 2018, entitled Ordinance Providing for the Integration of Barangay Clearances Fee to the Business Permit and License System under Section 11 of RA 11032, also known of Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government, for Service Delivery Act of 2018-11-08, and for other purposes to be consistent with law, Your Honor. And I move for the approval of the said resolution again.
If there's no objection to this resolution, then this resolution is approved on second reading.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Your
Councilor
Honor.
Z. Pancheta.
Yes, we don't have any item under proposed ordinance for third reading. So we now go to urgent matters under inclusion. Please recognize Councilor Serapin Y. Bernardino.
Councilor Serafin Y. Bernardino, where are you? Yuhu! Nasaan po si Councilor Bernardino? Kung wala po siya, then his chair person. Sino bang ano rito? O one of the authors. Okay, the gentleman from Barangay Tandong is now entering the session hall. Welcome back, Councilor Serafin Y. Bernardino. May the chair have the privilege to recognize you to propose this ordinance under urgent matter na kung saan kayo po ang nag-propose. Magandang umaga po muli, Councilor Boji Bernardino, the Secretary General ng NCR League of Councilors at member ng Board of Director ng National Directorate ng Philippine Councilors League.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer. I would like to formally propose for the approval of this proposed ordinance approving the alignment of funds in the amount of 127,000 pesos in the annual budget of the City Council from advertising expenses to training expenses and other supplies and materials expenses. For first, second, and third reading, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Any second to the proposal? Duly seconded by Councilor Judy Mactubo. Any discussion? Any amend? Okay, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to clarify, ito ho kasing realignment of funds from the City Council annual budget mula sa advertising expenses. Ililipat po sa training expense and other supplies and materials. Doon po sa training expenses, do you have any particular event coming up that we need to realign ho yung budget?
May I, Mr. Presiding, may I answer
Yes,
the query?
you can please reply or answer to the query.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer. Ito po yung may kaugnayan sa last session na in-announce ko for an event, MMCL event at One Esplanade to be attended by several councilors, particularly the outgoing councilor to be awarded in Pasay City, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Okay, the event is, ano nga yung event na yon? Ano yung title?
MMCL Third Assembly and Awarding Ceremony, Mr. President.
Yeah, Your Honor, just to follow up kasi ho, I'm aware na meron hong PCL event na coming up ano. There's also one event coming up, the NMYL event as well.
Yes, I think, Mr. Presiding Officer, it's also included
At
for payment of other NMYL delegates.
yes, Your Honor. I was
Kasama
informed
daw.
do kasi that we don't have sufficient funds then to send a representation from this city sa movement of young legislators. At to my mind, natanong ko ho na we have an annual event for the both PCL and NMYL. At sa tingin ko ho, baka it will be a learning experience to us so as not to be selective. Pinondohan ng PCL but not the NMYL. Kaya ho, that would be my first concern, Your Honor. Second po, dito ho, mag-revert din ho tayo from training expense, from advertising expense, lalagay po sa supplies and materials expenses. Your Honor, my question would be, every week ho, we do committee hearings, Your Honor. At for the next coming weeks, we were informed that our city council cannot provide for the snacks anymore. Sabi ko, nasa buwan pa lang ho tayo ng Mayo. At yung committee ko in particular, the Committee on Housing, conducts weekly meetings ng housing.
So, sinong gumagastos nung pakain mo in your committee meeting? Kung walang...
Hindi pa naman ho. Mula ho ngayong linggo onwards, we were informed that no snacks will be provided anymore. Pero yung mga nakaraan ho, meron pa. Kaya sa akin nga ho, Your Honor, we are realigning funds as early as May. At ano ba, what happened to our budgeting strategy or system last October? Meron ho bang pagkukulang? May pagkakamali po ba na hindi ho ito na foresee? That would be number one question. Second would be, yung NMYL and PCL events, hindi ho ba ito mapoproject for the annual representation of councilors dun sa events? At para po for the coming years, mai-budget po natin to na mas maayos, mas matama, at mas mabuti ho siguro, Your Honor.
Okay, Councilor Boji Bernardillo, do you dare to answer or clarify why there are realignments or diversion of funds later in the year?
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer, first, query about food expenses sa mga committee. I think mas maganda na for the next City Council or the 9th City Council, mailagay na to, mai-propose na to ng maayos. And then for the NMYL and PCL, hindi ho to binilalagay natin particularly for the PCL expenses only. But for the whole activities or organization like NMYL, MMCL, PCL, and other training or mga pinupuntahan po ng ating mga sanggunian members. And then, right, Mr. Presiding Officer, na may mga nangyayaring kakapusan sa budget dahil for the first budgeting, I think ang ginagawa natin, nilalagyan muna natin ng estimated expenses only. Then saka natin pinupunuan pagdating na kung meron tayong mga supplemental budget. But again, it's for all our organization, Mr. Presiding Officer, not only for PCL.
Okay, malinaw po na faithfully under the title of this ordinance, it is for training expenses. Hindi naman po
Particular.
solely for the upcoming event that Councilor Boji mentioned a while ago. Okay,
Mr. Chair,
okay, Councilor Tadeo Santos.
it was a very good point raised by the Honorable Favis when he was told that there is no more allocation for food. As we all know, Mr. Chair, the Committee on Zoning holds weekly meetings. Pinakamadami po ang nare-refer po sa kanya. And it is only, we're not even in the middle of the year. So, it was good that Councilor Fabis mentioned that. Kasi kalahating taon pa ho tayo, wala na hong, and when only speaking of the plight of the chairperson of the Committee on Housing, Zoning, Urban Planning, and Community Development. And of course, this will go down to the other committee chairman as well, Mr. Chair. So nakapagtataka lang na bakit it's still, we're not even in the middle of the year. At the end of the middle of the year, ganun paano ho yun? Siguro we have to, Mr. Chair, we have to, the whole council should meet and take a look into that. Kasi di ba, when we pass our budget, meron po tayong nakalagay na allocation for that specific, halimbawa, purpose. And we have to take a look. And it is, I believe, the responsibility of those handling the funds of the City Council to make sure that we do not spend the amount allocated for a certain purpose in such a short period of time. Kasi the budget was made for it to last for 1 year, Mr. Chair, and not for it to last for half a year. So kung ganun naubos, does it follow sa ibang mga ng budget ng council na gano'n na rin po? That is, Mr. Chair, may lang po, pangamba.
Okay, I will clarify everything, Kasi yung budget natin actually is divided into semester. So, hinahati ho talaga yan to make sure that the second semester will have a full budget for everything.
Okay.
Ganun po yan. Like, for example, sa Office of the Vice Mayor,
So,
I see to it
Mr.
that
are you saying
only half or the budget for the first semester will be allocated for my expenses from January
to June,
to
end of June.
June of this fiscal year.
Okay. So,
ganun din sa council.
yes. So, it's a good thing that you pointed that out, Mr. Chair. Ibig sabihin, 1 month na lang ho pala yung yung discrepancy natin. Dahil second semester, second part of the year, meron po.
Opo.
Okay. Thank you po. Thank you.
At siguro, dahil masyadong masipag yung ating chairperson ng Committee ng Housing, talaga namang bumabaha yung kanyang mga referrals. Kaya siguro hindi na-anticipate yun. Pero next time, maybe during your review of the budget for next fiscal year, then you can allocate funds for everything and make sure na hindi kukulangin po.
And
okay lang yan.
there are
Kasi
several
ganyan lang naman eh.
millennial councilors in the next city council, Mr. Chair. So we really have to take a look into the budget of the council.
Opo, opo. Councilor Boji Bernardino, sorry. You still have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer. So, I think I've answered already
Satisfied
the
na
query.
siguro.
Yes.
Oo.
And then I've sent...
Anyway, I saw Councilor Mark Albert Del Rosario raising his hand. So I would like to recognize Councilor Mark Albert Del Rosario. He's the former Finance and Appropriation Chairman, Committee Chairperson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Yun nga po, yung pinoint out ni Councilor Don Fabis, mahalaga po yun dahil bakit nangyayari nga sa atin na yung event ng PCL, NMYL, which are all, ano naman yan parang annually, parang kabisado na natin ho yan na may mga ganyang event. Ang problema lang, Mr. Presiding Officer, na trace back ko before nung inapprove natin yung annual budget for this year, hindi ho tayo nagkaroon ng chance na mapag-usapan yung budget natin. At before, during our time as chairman of the Committee on Appropriation, talagang iniisa-isa po natin yung mga activity ng PCL, NMYL, at yung mga position na hinahawakan, for example, ni Konsehal Boji, may mga special mga meetings na doon kinakarga na natin sa budget ng City Council para times na magkaroon ng activity, may pondo po sila. So ngayon nga po, yung na-experience namin dahil we're having a NMYL second quarter General Assembly for next month. Yun nga po, na-advise nga kami na wala na nga daw pong budget.
Member ka ba ng NMYL?
Yes, of course.
Oh, so you're less than less than ano ba yan? Less
So,
than
yun lang, Mr. Presiding Officer, sana yung susunod na council or
9th City Council.
yun, na pag yung gawin natin yung magandang practice natin na kahit magkakasama na, pag-usapan pa din yung budget. Hindi yung ipapasa sa atin, aaprubahan na lang natin na hindi nakikita man lang yung kopya ng budget kung ano man yung nakalagay po doon.
Okay, so siguro isa sa mga suggestions from the chair. I recall before, October pa lang, nagpapatawag na tayo ng mga department heads to review the budget proposal of each department. So siguro, in that process, na papangalagaan natin lahat ang pangangailangan. Na-anticipate natin ang pangangailangan ng bawat departamento, lalong-lalo na yung ating departamento, yung konseho. Anyway, hindi naman, it's normal naman to, during the middle of the year, to approve supplemental budgets, to pass ordinances to realign. Nagagawa naman yan eh. So siguro ang concern kasi ni Councilor Don Carlo Favis dahil nga naman napaka-busy ng kanyang committee, especially yung housing zoning, na talaga namang napakaraming nare-refer. I think siguro kailangan i-review natin itong taon na ito, how many meetings, how many committee meetings ang ginaganap sa bawat, hindi lang sa committee ni Councilor Don Carlo Favis, kundi sa bawat committee natin, parang ma-anticipate natin yung mga expenses, especially yung food. Anyway, maraming salamat. Councilor Judy Magtubo.
Vice last na po.
Okay, sige. Councilor Mark Albert Del
Yun nga
Rosario.
po, Mr. Presiding Officer, with regards to the committee meeting, dati na-experience na rin po namin yan na pag nagpapa-meeting tayo, pa-Jollibee pa nga tayo nun. Pero dahil nga, yung minsan sa dalas ho ng mga committee meeting, parang makapagpamerienda lang tayo, juice and cupcake para mas matipid. nagagawa naman natin all year yon yung ganon. Pero yun nga, ang importante talaga dito, makita natin yung budget, magkaroon ang bawat isa ng chance na talagang magkaroon ng opinion and review of the budget. Dahil ito naman para sa sa ikabubuti ng natin ng lungsod natin at higit sa lahat yung effort ng bawat isa sa konsehong ito ay talagang mapapakinggan po. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Councilor Mark Del Rosario. Councilor Judy Magtubo. Pagbigyan natin yung isa sa mga rosa ng ating konseho. Congratulations also for the triumph of your husband.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Alam ko namang miss mo na ako magsalita eh.
Oo naman.
Thank you. Tingin ko po, Mr. Presiding Officer, ay resulta po ito ng hindi po tayo nagkaroon mismo dito sa ating sariling institusyon, sa ating sariling bahay, sa ating sariling opisina, ay hindi tayo nagkaroon ng maayos na deliberasyon sa ating pagpopondo ng ating mga gawain bilang mga halal na opisyal ng ating bayan. Kaya importante po talaga ang budget hearing dahil kagaya po ngayon, tayo mismo ay nagtatanungan kung bakit nauubos ang ating pondo. Pangalawa, ang tingin ko po, it's a matter of prioritization. Alam po dapat ng ating namamahala sa ating kapondohan kung ano ang mga prioridad na dapat na pagkagastusan ng City Council. Kaya po, susugang ko yung sinasabi ni Konsehal Mark, 9 years na po tayong konsehal, naranasan din po namin na kami mismo ang nagpapamerienda sa mga committee meeting natin dahil wala nga pong nauubusan ng pondo ang ating mga committee works o committee meetings natin. Kaya tingin ko po, sa mga susunod na bagong halal na konsehal, dapat talaga ay maging part sila ng deliberation sa budget mismo ng City Council. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Councilor Judy Magtubo. Councilor Jojo Banzon, you have the floor.
Hindi, bilang chairman po ng appropriation, I think I should not remain silent.
Oo nga, ikaw pala yung... Kasi Councilor Jojo, lately, pag kami pinapapasang supplemental budget, hindi ka na yung author Hindi na, nakakalimutan
Actually,
ka na
ilang araw na lang ba tayo? Nung petsa ba ngayon? Parang isang buwan na lang tayo na manunungkulan kami.
Parang
pero
si Councilor Jojo yung nasasaktan kanina.
It's a good thing it was brought up, pero the bad side of it was ngayon pa natin na-discuss. Sana kung maaga pa, no? So I think it's too late. Pero reminder dun sa bagong papasok, sana hindi na mangyari yung dapat na hindi dapat. So dun sa appropriation natin, when it comes to yung mga obligasyon ng NMYL, sa MPCL, I mean ano yan provided naman na isama sa budget yan. Kaya lang, hindi natin maiwasan talaga na minsan kukulangin. Sa pagkain naman, sa dain ng ating committee hearing, no? Tagang kinampus na rin tayo dun sa budget natin. Unexpectedly, tumaas ang presyo, dumami meetings, tagang kakapusin. Kaya lang, sabi may elbow room pa naman tayo, pwede pa tayo mag-supplemental budget dun sa mga ilang gastusin pa. Ang problema nga po, Mr. Presiding Officer, mga kasama, yung huling hinihingi natin supplemental budget, hindi pa na-budget ng ating budget officer. Kaya nga nagagalit ako nung huli, bakit ka ako hindi naisama? Ilang beses nagre-remind ang ating sangguniang secretary tungkol sa ating additional supplemental budget. Nasabi sa ating city administrator, nasabi kay budget officer. Unfortunately, hindi naman naisama. Di ba? So, ako naman ayokong parang kanina, nakukonsensya ako, para bang ako'y nagpabaya. Pero lahat ng pangangailangan ng taong bayan, ang pangangailangan natin sa ating mga services, naipondo naman. Ang problema, ang pondo naman natin, hindi naman lumaki ng ganong kalaki. So, yun lang po masasabi, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much, Councilor Jojo
Ang gusto lang
Banzon.
naman natin, maging masaya tayo parati lahat
Yan,
Makapaglingkod tayo ng masaya. Di ba?
Okay. Maraming salamat, Councilor Jojo Banzon. Councilor Don Carlo Fabis. Sandali. Tumataas ang kamay ni Councilor Manny Sarmiento. I would like to recognize him. Councilor Manny Sarmiento.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer. Nice for inquiry lang po. Kaya po ba tayo nagre-realign ay para po mapondohan natin yung this coming event for the PCL? Kasama po dito yon para sa training expenses?
I think it's clarified already, Councilor Manny Sarmiento, that the realignment is not for the sole purpose of the PCL activity. It's a...
for the training.
By the title, it's training expenses. And a while ago, it was clarified by Councilor Boji Bernardino na hindi lang naman para sa PCL expenses po yan.
Yes, kaya inulit ko yung tanong dahil syempre, ito ba ay para doon, kasi meron tayong, this is an annual budget natin for the council. Then meron tayong mga operating expenses kung bakit tayo kinapos at para malaman din natin. Actually, magkano ba yung budget natin for the annual year? Then tama po kayo, is ang pagpasok ng budget ay ito ay by partially doon sa quarterly. Kasi kung ano yung mature budget natin, yun ang pwede mo lang pagkagasasan. Siyempre, nagaling naman tayo sa pagiging kapitan. Ang ano lang naman natin dito, kasi yung from advertising expenses, we convert it to training and other supplies and expenses. Kung kinapos ba tayo talaga. Kasi nasa mid-year pa lang naman tayo talaga naman eh. Pero kung siguro mas malinaw kung makapag-report tayo kung bakit. Kasi ang magsasakripisyo nito, yung 9th City Council, yung bagong papasok.
Well, actually, as explained a while ago, ang ating budget is allocated and expedited every half of the year. So, hindi natin nakukuha yung for the second half of the year. So, the Council Secretariat makes sure na gagastusin lang talaga natin yung kalahati from January to June 30 of 2019 of every fiscal year.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer, tama po yan. Pero meron ho tayong process sa paggagawa ng annual budget na hindi mo pwedeng isagad. Tama po ba, Mr. Appropriation?
May savings tayo.
Diba?
May savings sa 10%.
Diba, may savings tayo. Kaya meron tayong buffer kung ikay kakapusin. Wala pa tayo. Nasa gitna pa lang tayo. Anyway, just a question, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Anyway, kung titingnan natin, nag-allocate tayo ng budget sa advertising, hindi nga nagagastos eh. Hindi nagagastos sa advertising. So, anyway, ganito po yun. May iwasan yan kung magkakaroon po tayo ng thorough review of the budget every year. Remember, every first week of October, kailangan i-review na natin yung budget for the next fiscal year. Kaya siguro, as a suggestion, kailan ibalik natin ho ito para namang yung collective minds ng bawat member ng legislature will be harnessed through this deliberation. Ibalik natin yung suggestion ni Councilor Mark na we exercise our responsibility to review the proposed budget of the city. Anyway, Councilor Mario De Leon.
Just to add a little words from this topic. If you will recall, during the seminars held in Tagaytay, I even suggested to get a bookkeeper that will be detailed in our city council's secretariat so that we know all the in and out of our funds. So, majority are not encouraged to my proposals. So, now that we will retiring or end our term, that's the time that we will speak about that. So, to me, just the same, just maintain our scrutinization about the budget of the council. So, even without any bookkeeper, if we cannot. So, still, we have to hold budget hearing on our own base city council.
Correct.
So, that's
Opo.
my suggestion.
I
Mr. Presiding
agree with
Officer.
you. Thank you very much, Councilor Mari De Leon. Anyway, so the period of discussion is now closed.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer. I think marami naman sa naging discussion, yung mga suggestion na pwede natin gawin for the 9th City Council. And ang pinakalumalabas doon na ika nga i-suggestion sa 9th City Council ay mapag-aralang maigi. Ano ba, mapapag-aralang maigi at magkaroon ng ika nga pagbibigay suggestion yung iba sa budgeting.
Kasi believe na believe tayo kay Councilor Jojo Banson bilang
kasi,
Finance and Appropriation.
Umasa na lang tayo kay Councilor Jojo.
Believe na believe tayo kay Councilor Jojo Banson eh.
Umasa na lang.
Oo lang tayo ng oo eh. Approve. Without thinking.
At magpasangga ngayon naghihintay pa po ng mga attachment si Councilor Judy. Bigay na ba?
Okay, so
natutuwa tuloy si Vice Governor sa
anyway,
nakakapulot si Vice Governor.
Last na ho ito ha, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis. You have the floor. So, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis ang pinakahuling kasapi na magtatalakay niya at magtatanong kung ano man yan. Ano ho yun?
Salamat po, Ginoong Tagapangulo, sa pagbibigay ng pagkakataon. Ako rin naman na nagbukas ho eh.
Oo
So,
nga. Isara mo na.
Just a quick manifestation po, Your Honor. Just a summary of what transpired. Unang-una po, my point is, if we are to realign funds, ibig sabihin po niyan, may pagkakamali po sa pagpopondo. Tama po, di ba? Because what we are passing right now, Your Honor, is calendared under urgent matters. Tama po? May urgency. So are we to admit that first and foremost, Your Honor, meron po malaking pagkakataon na hindi ho ito na-scrutinize thoroughly. You mentioned a while ago that it should go under thorough study and approval. Your Honor, way back October, nung atin hong pinapasa ang mga budget, lahat ng departments were given an opportunity to defend their budget. Nakakahiya po that because nung sumalang ang City Council budget, we solely relied on the
Councilor Jojo Banson.
No, not of Councilor Jojo Banson. But we relied on the experience, on the very lengthy experience of the City Council. Wala ho tayong mga ina-appropriatean na mga basura, collection of garbage that cannot be predicted. Wala po tayong inaalatan na mga capital outlay so big enough that we cannot predict, Your Honor. What we have in a council budget are only appropriations for snacks or food, for personal services, for traveling expenses. Hindi pa ho ba natin ma-project ng closely to reality? We are in the month of May. What I'm saying,
May naman.
What I'm saying, Your Honor, para po sa papasok na 9 City Council, I cannot imagine that they will be greeted by a City Council that has no budget sa kanilahong mga
Well,
pamiting.
correction
Your
naman.
Honor.
As I've said a while ago, first half po ang allocation yan. We are expending only half of the budget. I've been telling that for so many times a while ago already.
Mr. Presiding
May pondo
Officer,
tayo for the second half.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I beg to disagree. That was not the information. That was not the information passed on to me. What was passed on to me are informations that we do not have budget for the whole year anymore, the remaining months.
For the remaining months, Council, anyway.
Yes, Your Honor. Secondly, what was informed to us, NMYL members, wala
I
na pong...
think that begs for us to to at least review again what funds remaining now. Kasi I
Your Honor,
believe
that was-
na meron
that would be
tayong
my-
budget for the second half.
That would be my concluding point, Your Honor. I would like to request probably for us to prepare for the incoming 9 council members. Maybe we can ask the Secretary to present, Your Honor.
Nalulungkot yung mga nanonood sa likuran eh, oh. Sina Councilor Elvis.
Kaya nga
nang
ho, Your
pondo.
Honor, at nakakalungkot ho talaga kung ganyan ho ang aabutan nila. Maybe we can help by, hindi ko alam, no? Kaya gusto ko susugan yung sinabi ni Gonzalo Sarmiento. Nasa urgent po ito eh. Kung ito ay pagkukunan nung PCL representation this coming month, ipasa po natin to. Ipasa po natin. Pero kung hindi naman po, kung may ibang pagkukunan naman po, hindi maaantala yung biyahe o yung PCL event, I would recommend, Your Honor, that we wait for the presentation of the budget of the council before we pass this measure, Your Honor, this realignment. Again, kung supplemental po to, go. We can understand, supplemental yan. Pero pag ginamit na po ang term realignment, to my mind, meron po palang hindi natin na-foresee nung pagbabudget na yon. And dapat maging learning experience po to all of us. So, yun lamang po, Your Honor. Thank you po and good morning.
Okay, so thank you very much, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, but your revelation is surprising. So I would like to direct, nasa na ba si ating Council Secretary Lynn? So I declare a few moments recess. Hindi na yon. So, Councilor Jojo Banson, you have to review your appropriation kung ubus na.
Actually, wala namang yung system na lang ang issue natin, Vice eh.
Ano?
Yung sistema lang nung pag-process na lang ang issue eh. Pero wala nang issue, pwede natin ipasa yung kay
Okay,
Consel
nandito
Bote.
si Secretary Lin. Ubus na ba yung budget? Hindi.
Meron pa
So,
ho.
the information that was brought to you, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, is not accurate. Ano? Okay.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I would like to ask, naka-recess po ba tayo?
Recess tayo.
Ngayon lang ho inikot yung
Okay, recess tayo. Anyway, I would like to direct our Council Secretariat to please give me the exact financial standing of the City Council. So make a report on that. Okay? So hindi naman po, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, yuhu! May ponto pa tayo. Okay? So yung information that was brought to you was not accurate at all. Ang observation ko rito ay tama naman. Huwag kang mag-alala, Councilor Jojo Banson. Magaling yan. Magaling yan si Jojo. Kaya nga, yes, without thinking eh. Okay, so this session is resumed. Session is resumed po, mga kasama. Again, from the chair, I would like to request our Council Secretariat to please submit the reports about the current financial standing of the Council, and please give copies to all members of the 8th City Council. Pangalawa, magagaling ho kasi yung mga konsihal natin eh. Like for example, si Councilor Boji Bernardino as an officer ng PCL, he sees to it na we are exposed to this kind of meetings kasi we can learn from it.
Yes.
Pangalawa, si Councilor Don Carlo Fabis, napakaraming trabaho ngayon. napakaraming committee meetings, talaga namang next time, we allocate more funds for these committee meetings. Okay, so Councilor Boji Bernardino, you have the floor. The period of discussion is now closed. We go to the period of amendment.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer. Anyway, based on the request lang naman ng ating good councilor from Barangay Parang, apektado lang naman talaga tayo kasi of course, first, yung late ng budget. Pangalawa, yung mga unforeseen event, Mr. Presiding Officer, na talaga nangyayari naman yun from the previous pa.
Siyempre,
kaya nga meron tayong right to realign or for a supplemental budget.
Okay, please listen, ha? Nagtatanong tayo, makinig tayo sa paliwanag. Okay,
Yes,
sa
Mr.
staff,
Presiding Officer.
tahimik po tayo, no? Hindi
So I think,
kasama
Mr.
sa
Presiding Officer,
diskusyon.
naging mahaba na rin ang discussion, and I think this proposed ordinance ay kailangan for this month of June. Then since marami tayong mga susunod-sunod na session na baka wala po tayong session, tatamaan tayo ng holiday, tatamaan tayo ng pagpunta ng assembly sa Cebu. And then I think the Idul Fitr Muslim tradition, tatamaan din tayo. So this proposed ordinance is very important to approve. So I would like to reiterate, Mr. Presiding Officer, for the approval of this proposed ordinance for first, second, and third reading.
Okay, if there's no objection to this ordinance, then this ordinance is approved on first, second, third readings and confirmed.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Floor Leader, after a lengthy deliberation with Raymond de Guzman, sige po, you have the floor. Nasaan na ba tayo? Tapos na tayo sa urgent matter.
Urgent matters?
Tapos na tayo sa urgent matter. Other matters na.
So we now come to item 8, other matters.
Opo.
So please recognize
Sino po?
Councilor Cipri Acheta.
Councilor Zif Ancheta, you're recognized.
Good morning again, Your Honor.
Magandang umaga po.
Your Honor, I move for the suspension of the rule to give way
You
to the
cannot
passage.
move for the suspension of the rules. I think, can you please suggest it muna kay,
I ask.
sa ating floor leader, who is the chairperson ng rules. Isanggunin mo na muna. Ipaliwanag mo na muna. Kung ano yung subject matter na gusto mong ipasa. Then, you seek permission from the chairperson of the rules so that he can move for the suspension of the rule.
Yes.
So ipaliwanag mo muna kung ano ba yung subject matter na gusto mong ipasa kaagad.
Yes, document number 19-144 for the passage of the resolution of the Barangay Ordinance of Concepcion DOS in the amount of 24,559 pesos for their annual budget for this year.
So this is a barangay ordinance.
Yes.
And you will pass a resolution certifying that this is in accordance with the law.
Consistent with the law, Your Honor.
So yun po yung gusto niyang ipasa under suspended rules. So please, as the chairperson of Rules Committee.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer, I move for the suspension of rules to give way for the passage of that resolution.
Okay, so kung walang tumututol, then the rules suspended. You have the floor, Councilor Zifancheta.
Yes, Your Honor. I move for the approval of the said resolution for the Barangay Ordinance of Barangay Concepcion DOS of annual budget 2019 in the amount of 24,559,794 pesos to be consistent with law. For second and third reading.
Second reading lang kasi resolution lang yan.
Yes, for second reading.
For second reading. Okay? Any second duly seconded? Any discussion? Any amendment?
Your Honor, I want,
Okay.
of course,
Sige po.
include Your Honor, presiding officer and the rest of the council as part of the said resolution.
Okay, so kung walang tumututol dun sa amendment, then the amendment is approved. Any objection to the resolution wherein the budget of Concepcion DOS is certified as in accordance with the law? None? Then this resolution is approved on second reading.
Thank you,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Floor Leader, kung
Any other
meron pa
concern
ba?
about the other matters?
Wala?
So,
We
wala
got
po. So we now come to the period of announcement.
announcement.
Announcement, Mr.
Sige po,
Presiding
sige
Officer.
po.
Kung maalala natin, itong June 5 na ito ay sangayon sa aking mga tao
Sa
rin likod ko.
information. Tama yung information na yan, ha? Gusto ko tama talaga.
Meron parang June 5 is holiday.
Ano ba yon? Anong okasyon? Eid el-Fitr?
Oh, yes.
Oh, holiday yun.
Tapos June 12, holiday rin po.
Ay, holiday talaga yon. Independence Day.
Excited.
Saka piyesta. Pupunta kami sa bahay nyo. Piyesta yan eh.
June 12 yung pinag-uusapan po natin, Mr. Presiding Officer, not June 13.
Kasi kung holiday naman talaga, we have no recourse but to stay at home. walang session yan. Councilor Boji Bernardino.
Mr. Presiding Officer, also please consider yung June 19th. Kung ang assembly po sa Cebu na dadaluhan ng, especially for those outgoing members of this august body, mawawalan din tayo ng quorum nun. So,
Kailan ho yan?
June 18, 19, and 20 po ang ano eh. So, baka mawalan din tayo ng quorum. Maybe, Mr. Presiding Officer, we can consider a special session na lang kung meron talagang mga pangangailangan. No,
So what do you mean to say, pati June 19?
Yes, I think tatamaan po kasi yun dahil because of the participation of this August body sa Cebu
Okay,
Assembly.
let's make it clear. Councilor Mario De Leon, June 5 is a holiday.
Yes, June 5.
June 12 is a holiday again.
Yes.
June 19, meron po tayong meeting, event sa PCL, and Councilor Boji Bernardino is anticipating that we will have no quorum during that time. So, for June 5 and June 12, we don't need a resolution for that. It's a holiday eh. So, June 19 na lang. Ano ba yung...
Yes, for June 19, Mr. Presiding Officer, I'm thinking of passing or requesting or motion na magkaroon na lang ng special session kung talagang meron po tayo mga dapat importanteng talakayin.
Under our internal rules, even on June 5 after that, kunyari
Yes.
June 6 kailangan.
Even after
pwede
June
naman
5.
yan eh, anytime.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Okay, so what's your matter on that on
Yes,
June 19?
I'd like to, if our floor leader will allow for me to move na for June 5, June 12, and because of holiday of June 5 and June 12 and possibility of no quorum on June 19, for this 8th Council to have a recess and have a special session na lang to discuss or para matakal yung mga important agendas.
So hindi naman kailangan ng special session dyan. Ang isabihin, hindi yun ang right term. Imumove lang natin yung ating regular session from June 19 to a certain date that we will all agree upon. Anong araw ba gusto natin? June 19 ay
Wednesday.
for sure walang quorum. So we will move our regular session to another day.
To another, yes.
Ano bang, kailan ba ang balik ninyo? Session uli yun regular
Yes, and June 26, Mr. Presiding Officer, I think ito yung last session ng 8th City Council.
Oo.
And to give also, of course, recognition and awarding of
Problema, wala ako niyan.
wala po ba? Para mabigyan din ng pagkakataon ang ating mga outgoing members.
Anyway, we go back to June 19. Kailan ba, what is the period of time na kung saan nandun kayo sa PCL meeting?
It's 18, 19, 20 ang regular member. Ako po, June 17 to 20. Sila 18 to 20. So, dito sila, possible po, June 21.
21. June 21. Friday. Meron din, pero ilan lang kayo? 3 lang naman
May quorum noon.
So, we are looking at June 21, which is a Friday, or June 23, 24,
Monday.
which is a Monday, to move our regular session on June 19 to another day. June 24. Okay, so can you please make a motion for that?
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to move that our regular session on June 19 be moved on June 24.
2019. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objection? Councilor Manny Sarmiento.
May date ka doon?
Pakatapos sa flag ceremony, session ka agad.
Meron naman tayong 26. Ba't kailangan pa natin i-move ng 24?
Well, wala namang problema yon, ano? Kasi ang problema...
Para isang ano lang tayo.
So entirely, gusto nyo tanggalin
Yes.
na yung...
Full day na. Kasi kung ano naman, actually, ang ipapasa naman natin, mga annual budget ng mga barangay Sana lang. 26, sabay na, paalam. Para party na.
Hindi, pwede naman yung 26, gawin din natin 24. Isahan na lang.
Okay. Basta isa na lang.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the body? 24.
So, yung mga 19 po at saka yung 26, gagawin nating 24 na lahat.
Opo.
So, that will be our last session.
Yung, okay na yon?
What will happen? Mr. Presiding Officer?
Ano po?
24 is our...
So, Mr. Presiding Officer, may I
will
request for
declare
a few minutes
moments
recess.
Mag-recess tayo dyan, ha?
Okay po, siguro po malaman natin kung okay sa body. Yung session natin on June 19 and June 26, since wala po kasi yung ating presiding officer, marapat lang na yung ating session on June 26, nandito yung ating presiding officer. Dahil last session po yon. Kung okay po sa inyo lahat, gagawin nating June 24 ang ating last session. Okay na po. That is Monday, after flag ceremony.
Okay, session is resumed. What
Okay,
is your
Mr.
pleasure,
Presiding Officer.
Councilor Boji Bernardino?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to move, Mr. Presiding Officer, that our last session, there will be no session on 19 and 26, but our last session of the 8th City Council be made on June 24, 2019, after the flag ceremony.
If there's no objection to the motion, then the motion to designate June 24 as our last regular session is approved on first and second reading.
Thank you very much.
Anong oras nga pala?
After the flag ceremony, so
after
that
the
will
flag
be
ceremony.
maybe around 10 o'clock, sir.
Okay, 10 o'clock.
That is a whole
10 o'clock.
day session.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Floor Leader.
So, any other announcement? There's announcement?
No more.
If there's none, I move for the adjournment of the session.
Okay, before we adjourn the session, maraming salamat sa mga nanood sa ating bisita kay Vice Governor Tingkung Kuko, Olga Tingkung Kuko. Maraming salamat sa mga councilor-elects who are here. Mabuhay po kayo. Sana natuto po kayo sa sesyon ngayon. The session is adjourned.
Okay, so narinig natin at napanood ang session, isang sample sanggunian session na ginanap sa Marikina noong 2019 na ang video na ito ay shinare ng ating e-coach na si Sir Patrick Mejia. Okay, so bago tayo maghiwalay-hiwalay pansamantala at bumalik mamayang alauna, tanong ko sa inyo, ano yung last na talagang pinagbatihan nila, yung last portion ng session na talagang masyado silang agresibo? Ano ang topic na yun?
Budgetary alignment.
Budgetary alignment.
Yes, it happens, tama, no? Budget yung kanilang pinag-usapan na talagang batihan talaga nila dun sa floor. So kailangan ay siguro nangyayari naman kasi yan sa mga opisina natin, kaya lang ang pinagtataka ni Councilor Favis, Mayo pa lang ubos na yung budget para sa snacks. So siguro nararanasan din natin yun sa ating mga pag tayo nasa mga munisipyo, nawawala din tayo ng budget. Pambili nga lang ng 3-in-1 coffee, nawawala naubusan na yung budget natin. So sa matter of lang sa kanila, siguro magre-realign ng mabuti o isipin talaga yung mga future na gagastusin. So yan. So aside from that, naging maayos naman ang pamumuno ng presiding officer. Hindi naman siya naging agresibo, no? Kasi kung naging agresibo siya, hindi na siya dapat maging presiding officer. Diyan na lang siya sa baba, mag-SB na lang siya, kung gusto niya magsali sa debate, no? Pero mukhang hindi naman siya ganyan. So these are the things that I have observed personally, at baka kayo ay ma-observe nyo rin at madagdagan yung observation, initial observation ko, no? Pero yun. So in your LMS, I think it's open na. You could you could do your reaction paper. Again, my scenario at the first during the start of this, put yourself na ikaw yung DILG officer ng bayan na yan, ng syudad na yan, at tinanong ka ng presiding officer, anong obserbasyon mo, anong pwede namin baguhin sa mga susunod naming session. Ayan. So yun ang isipin natin na scenario sa ating pagsulat ng ating reaction paper. Okay, so I will not hang you further, no? So para makagawa na po kayo. Again, pwede niyo muna ilagay yan sa Word kung gusto nyo, and then wag niyo kalimutan na paste na yan sa LMS before 1 o'clock. Okay? So Barangay Matatag, 12:45 we're on, no? So we could start our session, our hosting by that time, and then si Sir Ian po ang hahawak po ng ating sessions in the afternoon. You can stay here dito sa Zoom, you can log out kung and have lunch, and then don't forget to do your action paper. Yun po, and I hope you enjoyed the session, no? Maganda yung session, lalo na yung sa bandang huli, feeling ko nag-away-away na sila tungkol sa mga schedules nila, pero okay lang yan, nangyayari naman talaga yan. So yun, so again, I'll see you mamaya po, no? Get ready, Barangay Matatag, for the hosting, and then have a good lunch, and so am I. Okay, so see you later.
Bye, Sir Dave.
Bye.
Thank you, Sir
Thank
Dave.
you, Sir
Bye,
Dave.
sir.
Dave.
Thank you, Sir Dave.
Salamat po. Happy
Thank you
lunch.
po.
Thank you, Sir Dave.
Salamat
Thank
po.
po, Sir Dave. Thank you
Thank you
po.
po.